Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we get to work on this. So for today we've got a couple of things. I would like to remake my Lexan floor. I want to make it out of aluminum, kind of like the way I made my inner fenders here. And then these lower panels as well. My favorite material for doing such is an old license plate. I've got an Arizona, an old Indiana one here. The Arizona one's cleaner, so I think this is the one I'm going to go with. Also, a couple things came in the mail today. Got my new billet shifters from Colorado Adventure Club. Cody, thank you so much. I appreciate you, dog. Those are going to go right in there. But first, we got to get some panels removed. Alright, we got all the panels off, and you can kind of see what we got going on here. When I first made this Lexan is pretty thick, so I had to kind of clearance for the top of the twin here, and you know, I was just kind of shooting in the dark for the most part. I did do a drop down so that his legs would have his feet would have somewhere to go, and they can also continue forward down here as well. As you can see, these are made from license plate. Same exact thing. It looks really nice. For the bends on the inners here, they're literally just bolted to the shock mounts. But for the bends, I marked here and here, and then I also marked there, and I just did bend lines going from each. That way it looked super duper clean when finished installed. These need some, you know, just some little adjusting, you know, here and there, but for the most part they stay pretty well in place. But what I'm going to do is, when I remake this floor out of the license plate, it's going to fully cover all of this. We're not going to have this gap right in here, especially right here. It's just going to be more coverage and more flush and look better because it'll be aluminum. Before we get into that though, I'd like to go over my electronic setup. We have some Injora micro servos with the Colorado Adventure Club servo mounts over here. On this side it's the whole thing. On this side it's one half is his mount, but I wanted to get my servo lower and ended up getting it flush with the other side. If I would have done his original mount, this would have been up about another 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 more. So what I did was I fabricated my own titanium mount plate that goes to the VFD like upper link mount option spots. So it just bolts into the back over there, and then one screw in here and everything's good to go. You can see that I had to kind of, you know, bulbous this out. I had to push it out because his servo arm and servo linkage was kind of hitting, and I even had to kind of clearance right here as well for the shifter moving forward and back, because on this side it was hitting. But over here I made kind of this like protective box thing to go under the floor so that my front dig doesn't get affected by any of my wiring. The servo leads just go under into here, and then everything ends up inside of my receiver box. But you know, BEC hiding behind plastic so you don't see it. Running along, ESC chilling there under the floor. All the wiring run nice and clean. And that's what this panel kind of covers up, is the fact that all the wiring is right there underneath of the floor. That's also why I didn't do the drop down on this side, because there's no room for it to drop down. It just straight. Plus I don't put a second passenger in here. I just use a cooler as a receiver box, so It doesn't need to be clearance for feet or anything like that. So let's get to making a new floor. First thing I'm going to do is flatten it out, lay it on my piece of aluminum, and then make score marks of where to cut, where I know the dimensions that already fit and already work. I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave some extra material here and here and just trim away as I go. Alright, so I just use a clamp to clamp my license plate to my existing floor. Got my predetermined holes for the VFD lined out. Everything's trimmed close enough. And from here it's just going to be cut and trim, cut and trim, cut and trim. This aluminum, the thin stuff, when you're cutting it, you might get little, spots that bend down like this, or kind of look ugly or whatever. We're going to clean all this up with a file and then flatten it out on our vise after. Now that we're done trimming, we can just take some 400 grit sandpaper, soften all these edges, especially where the wires are going to be poking through for the receiver, and then we'll get this thing fitted up, see what it looks like. Alright, we got that fitted up real nice. Looks great. Much more scale than before. Got our drop down for our feet. Everything's fitting up nicely. I think that's going to work out just fine. I'll get it put back together and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, here we go. Interior all back together. No focus. Great. Super duper. Got the Colorado Adventure Club cutting brake handles, billet action. Looking real nice in there. See, our floor goes all the way to the firewall. So this is the Smith built interior, but it wasn't really working very well with the twin. It made everything super high up. So that's why I made the new floor initially, and I had to cut the bottom off here to make room for the feet and the dropped floorboard as well. So this is his battery tray. For retaining it, I just took the M4 drive shaft set screws and ran them through so that the pins protruded, and then they go into the once threaded holes. So my battery will go in there, and I just pop it in. Now when I flip over, it does pop off, and that's super annoying, but it is what it is. I ended up taking a Vanquish cap and threading it in there, so that looks super duper cool. Got the custom axle mounted sway bar. Super proud of that. It works. I can disconnect it. It doesn't fall apart. It just all stays together, and it is no longer in use because of this sleeve right here that I have going over the torsion rod, keeping the arms in place. Pretty neat little setup there. Really like this buggy. I am going to be building a whole new pro mod because at Nationals I brought a knife to a gunfight. So this year I'm bringing an AK-47. I will not go out like that again. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you tackle your own custom projects, because I mean, DIY, just stuff you got laying around, make it happen. Looks cool, super easy, simple tools, files, scissors, things like that, drill. Oh yeah, that turned out really nice. Also, I got some spare aluminum left over in case I have to make any more new panels.